Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making news this morning, the search for local 3-year-old continues into a 6th week.
Outside with live cam. Boy, it was nice to see the sunshine this weekend. We started to thaw out, especially yesterday. But we've dropped back down into the 40s, and some of you are probably in the 30s. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is February 7th. Hi, Steph.
Hi, good morning.
How was your
Monday.
weekend?
It was good. Well, like you, I was happy to see the sun.
It was beautiful yesterday. It started to warm up. How much warm did we get yesterday, Mike Osterhage?
We got up into the upper 50s.
Very nice.
Yeah, and low 60s around a lot of the area. That was after starting off in the mid-20s, 22 on Saturday morning.
Oh, so. It was downright frosty. Yeah. And some of the grass, my front yard, I've got a little patch of front yard, it had made it this far. It's now officially dormant.
Yeah, and a lot of folks are posting pictures about that. The grass looks really strange now, so because it's probably going, wait a minute, what? Who did? So, yeah. This week, though, is going to be fairly consistent as far as temperatures. Matter of fact, we are going to start to get a little bit milder as the week rolls on. We've got a lot of clear skies out there right now. It is an absolutely gorgeous morning. 43 degrees. The only freezing temperature showing up at the reporting sites is Comfort at 31. Of course, in your backyard, around Kerrville, Bandera, you may be just below right at about freezing or so. And we will drop down a couple of more degrees this morning, but we do have slightly more humidity out there, so you can't drop down below these dew point temperatures. We're not going to make it down into the mid-30s here in town, but like I said, I think we will drop down right around 40 or so here in town when it's all said and done. A little bit of a breeze out there this morning, so yep, there is a hint of a wind chill. Shave off a few notches there, and that's what it feels like, so definitely bundle up. And it's going to be cool enough today to warrant maybe a jacket or a sweatshirt. 80 is the mountain cedar count. That's on the low side. Mold is low as well. This morning, not too much of a breeze out there, but just enough to add a little bit of a nip to that 40 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. That's also going to help prevent us from dropping down that much further. And then plenty of sunshine making in the upper 50s later on today. Good looking week ahead. Downside, not a drop of rain in sight. We'll take a look ahead to the Valentine's weekend. Yes, here is we're going to continue warning you, gentlemen. Valentine's is coming up. That's in just a couple of minutes. Mark.
Thank you very much, Mike. 4:32, the mayor of Kerrville issuing a disaster declaration in response to the wintry weather that hit the area, along with other parts of Texas.
And Sarah Costa joins us now in the studio with those details. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Steph. Yeah, so that declaration will allow the city to use resources provided by the city and state as part of their emergency management plan. So below freezing temperatures, a wintry mix, and ice led to many issues in Kerrville. You might remember on Thursday, an 18-wheeler jackknifed on I-10, causing traffic to be stopped for hours. One person died as a result of that crash. The 18-wheeler crashed into a Ford F-350, and one person inside of that truck died. Another person was injured. So that disaster declaration will last for 7 days unless the Kerrville mayor sees a reason to extend it longer than that. So this is a story we're continuing to follow closely. We do have that declaration posted on KSAT.com. Just look for this story on our homepage. Mark and Steph.
Thank you, Sarah. The community vowing not to give up hope as the search for Lena Keel extends into its 6th week. The group of volunteers Sunday focusing on Opeach Naval Park on the northwest side. Many volunteers said it was their first time searching, and they're looking for any areas that look disturbed or anything that looks out of place. One volunteer told us that she couldn't sit by another day knowing Lena isn't home, and she couldn't help.
We can't just sit and keep observing. We need to get out and do what we can for this poor little girl.
San Antonio Police Department, they are asking for tips in Lena's missing persons case. You can reach the missing persons unit at 210-207-7660. The Islamic Center of San Antonio and Crime Stoppers are offering rewards that total $150,000.
Jury selection begins today in the federal hate crimes trial for 3 men convicted of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Government lawyers will try to prove the men chased down and shot the 25-year-old to death because he was black. Gregory and Travis McMichael withdrew their guilty pleas just last week after the judge overseeing the case rejected plea deals. The men reached with prosecutors over the Arbery family's objections. 2 of the men were sentenced to life in prison after the convictions in Georgia state court last year.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says Russia could invade Ukraine any day. The warning comes after U.S. officials confirmed that Russia has assembled at least 70% of the military firepower it likely intends to have in place by mid-month to give President Vladimir Putin the option of launching a full-scale invasion. Meanwhile, elite U.S. troops and equipment have landed in southeastern Poland near the border with Ukraine. The troops are part of a deployment ordered by Biden to show the U.S. commitment to Eastern NATO allies.
The CDC reporting that 212 million Americans are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That amounts to 64% of Americans. More than 89 million have been boosted, which amounts to 27% of the total U.S. population. Only one state has less than half their residents vaccinated now. That's Alabama. About 1 in 5 eligible Americans above the age of 5 have not received any dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
New controversy surrounding podcaster Joe Rogan, who attracts an estimated 11 million listeners to each of his episodes.
Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
Podcasting star Joe Rogan is now apologizing for a recently surfaced video showing him repeatedly using a racial slur on his show over the years.
The most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now.
The apology comes after Spotify removed dozens of episodes of his hit show, The Joe Rogan Experience, including episodes with Alex Jones and former Breitbart editor Milo Yiannopoulos. Rogan has been facing criticism for sharing misinformation about COVID, leading artists, including Neil Young, to pull their music from the streaming platform. Rogan reportedly signed a $100 million deal with Spotify in 2020. The company's CEO, in a letter to employees Sunday, said he does not believe that silencing Joe is the answer. Other comics and podcasters also coming to Rogan's defense. Whitney Cummings tweeting, "Comedians did not sign up to be your hero. Stay focused on the people we pay taxes to be moral leaders."
Even if everything he said was 100% right, you still shouldn't take medical advice from a comedian doing a podcast. You can't go, well, I used to host Fear Factor and now he gives me my medical advice. That's not a thing.
Spotify says it's now adding content advisories to COVID-related podcasts. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
437, about 43 degrees.
Coming up next, a preview of the San Antonio Spurs rodeo road trip.
Good luck, guys. And checking traffic right now, see how things are looking out there. Still very, very early as we get started here on GMSA. There was 281, there's 1604, Highway 90 at 36th Street.
And taking a look outside with live cam, you're starting at a cold 43 degrees, but it was such a beautiful afternoon yesterday. We'll be checking with Mike to see what we can expect later today.
Good morning and welcome back. 440, our San Antonio Spurs head out on their annual rodeo road trip this Wednesday, where they'll play their first 5 games before the NBA All-Star break. Spurs coming off a rout of the Rockets again, 131-106 in their last home game before leaving SA until the end of February. Keldon Johnson led the Spurs with 28 points. Well, Zach Collins played his first NBA game since 2020 after 2 foot surgeries and scored 10. As a result of the victory, Spurs head coach Greg Popovich only needs 6 more wins to become the all-time winningest coach in NBA history. Meanwhile, the team is grateful for a much-needed break.
It feels great, you know. It's been a wild season. Obviously, this month has been crazy for our team. January, I think we had like 17 games or whatever it was. So it just feels good to have, in the NBA, if you can have a 2-day break, it's huge. If you can have a 4-day break, it's even better, especially with All-Star break coming up. We know we have another one coming, so we can finish out these last 5 games, you know, with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and just playing as hard as we can.
3 games in the immediate future. Wednesday, the Spurs are at Cleveland starting at 6 p.m. Friday, they travel to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. Then the team is in New Orleans on Saturday. Out in Las Vegas, Mario Barrios fought in his 2nd straight pay-per-view fight and made his debut at welterweight. Barrios faced Keith Thurman, who hadn't fought in 2 years, but he looked like he hadn't been gone at all. Thurman cautious his attack and kept Barrios at bay. Thurman landed more punches and even caused 2 cuts above Mario's left eye. Despite all the blood, Barrios never looked like he was going to be knocked down or knocked out. In the end, Thurman won by unanimous decision. San Antonio's Jesse Bam Rodriguez was preparing for a different opponent at a different belt 1 week ago. Then he gets the call to move up to the main event because one of the fighters became ill with a non-COVID illness. So new opponent, bigger belt, and Rodriguez would make the most of his chance in Phoenix. The undefeated Rodriguez faced veteran fighter Carlos Cuadras in a 12-round bout for the WBC World Super Flyweight title, and Bam Rodriguez came out swinging. He had to move up in weight to take this fight on a week's notice, but he was in total control from the start. Biggest punch came in the 3rd round when he landed an uppercut on Cuadras as he turned his body. It sent Cuadras to the canvas. From there, Rodriguez continued an attack to the head and would win by unanimous decision to become San Antonio's newest world champion boxer. Rodriguez and company flew back to San Antonio yesterday with his new championship belt.
Show me the belt. Describe it to me when they gave it to you. How did that feel?
And you know, it was my first time touching one. It was so amazing, man. I've always looked at these belts and wanted one myself, and you know, I finally have it. It still hasn't hit me, you know. It still feels like a dream, honestly. Not only that, but it's crazy, man. It's so surreal. It's everything, you know, everything I've dreamed of since starting boxing. I've always dreamed of capturing my first world title, and to finally, you know, live in the moment, it feels amazing. It was 12 rounds full of war, battle. I dropped him in the 3rd, and then in the 5th is when I really felt like I started taking over and just, you know, fighting my fight, started boxing him the way I was supposed to. But, you know, I came out with the victory, and, you know, I'm very happy.
With the win, Rodriguez becomes the youngest current boxing champ at only 22 years old. What a way to celebrate a birthday. He just turned 22 last month. Congratulations to San Antonio's newest world champ boxer.
Yeah, congratulations. And I love the Spurs cap as well.
I know, nice touch as well.
Very nice. Time now, 4:44 and about 43 degrees for now. Coming up next, a first look at dramatic police video showing the moments a SWAT team rescued a housekeeper of billionaire Michael Bloomberg after she was abducted at gunpoint. And welcome back. It's 4:46. A man charged with kidnapping Michael Bloomberg's housekeeper from his Wyoming ranch was looking for his daughters. ABC's Kaylee Hartung has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a billionaire kidnapping plot thwarted. This dramatic police video showing the moments a SWAT team rescued a housekeeper of billionaire Michael Bloomberg from a Wyoming motel after she'd been abducted at gunpoint from his Colorado ranch, driven across state lines and held hostage for more than 15 hours.
This strikes me as a very disorganized kidnapping. And unfortunately, that can be some of the most dangerous situations.
Investigators say the suspect forced his way onto the ranch, demanding to know where Bloomberg's 2 adult daughters were, saying he wanted to make an international scene, according to court documents obtained by the Associated Press. But the former New York City mayor, who's estimated to be worth $70 billion, and his family weren't there. We'll have much more on this unfolding case and the latest on the Bloomberg family coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kaylee Hartung, ABC News, Los Angeles.
If you have to leave in the next 10 or 15 minutes, the roads are yours without major problems showing up here as we take a look around 281 at 410 over by the airport. Very, very light traffic, which is not altogether unusual for such an early hour. But can we just soak in the fact that we got to thaw out this weekend? My goodness, what a change from Friday to yesterday.
Yes, what a treat. I was very thankful.
Frosty mornings, though, for sure, Mike Osterhage.
And I did see some frost early Saturday morning when we dipped down to 22 degrees. And then, warmed up quite nicely. I mean, it couldn't have been more beautiful in the afternoons. Yesterday it was mid-20s up to 61. So I think we may be down to just a couple of degrees later on today. So many beautiful pictures that folks took now that it's pretty much all said and done. And everybody just got that little glaze of ice on everything. Some beautiful, beautiful pictures. We're going to show you more throughout the course of the morning. Great start this morning. Got a lot of clear skies, a lot of cloudy skies though. And that's what's holding temperatures up somewhat. And it's not going to really prevent us from dipping down all that much from where we are right now. We'll probably lose a couple of degrees here and there. 39 though is the wind chill. 29 in Helotes, 31 right now in Comfort. So not a huge breeze, but wind is going to pick up a little bit more as the day rolls on. Of course, yesterday we were pretty much low 60s around the area. Today it's going to be about the same situation. We've got a hint more humidity out there, so it takes a bit more energy to warm up moist air than it does the drier air. So that will keep us down into the upper 50s, around 60. call it 60, upper 50s throughout most of the area. Here's the satellite picture. We had the clear skies yesterday, of course. These clouds moved on in here. Maybe even a little bit of a sprinkle, one or two of them, just that glitch sort of in the atmosphere out there to the west of us. But other than that, these clouds, again, will be sticking around just this morning and then clearing on out. And upstream, there's nothing going on. Not really a heck of a lot going on around the country. Another quick little sort of wave, Alberta clipper, if you will, coming in here out of the prairie provinces of Canada, and some rain along the and yeah, kind of messy situation there over in the Carolinas. But upstream, there's nothing going on. This is our weather for the rest of the week. Really nothing but sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful February week because we're going to have some cool mornings and nice afternoons. Still, like today, jacket weather, but then at about 2, 3, 4 degrees each and every day as the week rolls on. So we will eventually get up close to 70 by the end of the week, and low temperatures won't be as cool, but still sort of jacket weather. And you can see as the humidity in the morning comes up ever so slightly that will keep low temperatures just a little bit milder in the mornings as we're going through the week, but no big like spikes in humidity. The downside to the forecast, now thank goodness we had all that rain last week. Yes, of course, in some cases it turned into sleet and freezing rain and everything, but thank goodness we got a bunch of rain last week because there's nothing in the forecast for this week and even as it looks right now, majority of next week. 50 degrees today at noon, mostly sunny skies, good looking day, some leftover clouds this morning, then 58 for a high temperature today, slightly breezy, so jacket's a pretty good idea. Of course, there's no winter weather, anything out there today at all. And tomorrow we're going to be down close to freezing again with the clear skies up to 65. And again, add 2-3 degrees or so to bottom and top numbers all the way through the rest of the week. A slight bit of a front moves through here, and that's going to shave temperatures off somewhat on Sunday. A couple of more clouds. Like I said, nothing as far as any rain in the forecast.
But I'm happy to see the sunshine.
Yes, and beautiful sunny days, and at least we got that rain last week. So.
Yes.
Okay, great looking forecast.
Yes, it is.
Overall, nice change. Thanks, Mike. 451, about 43 degrees.
And coming up next, a disaster epic has a disastrous debut at the box office, plus a big anniversary for the Beatles.
Your lottery numbers this morning: pick 3051, Fireball 1, Daily 4, 5917, Fireball 5.
Cash 5, 10, 11, 13, 26, 35. And Lotto Texas 5, 16, 30, 47, 49, 51. And your Powerball numbers 5, 16, 27, 39, 61, Powerball 24, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Five till 5, a big anniversary for the Beatles, plus a disastrous debut for Halle Berry's new movie.
For the latest one is happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Christopher Watson.
What's the plan?
Save the moon, save Earth.
You'd think that with an all-star cast led by Halle Berry and wall-to-wall special effects, Moonfall would be a lock to bow in first place.
You have to launch now!
But the disaster epic had a disastrous debut, just $10.1 million, about 7% of what it cost to make. Jackass Forever opened in first place instead with $23.5 million, a sign we're all clearly in need of a good laugh. We're getting a sixth screen film. The latest entry has grossed over $112 million globally in 3 weeks of release. 58 years ago Monday, the Beatles arrived in New York to begin their first U.S. tour. And happy birthday to Chris Rock. The actor, comic, and former SNL star is 57 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
And the time now, 4:56 and about 43 degrees out there.
Still ahead on GMSA, what the White House National Security Advisor is saying about a Russian attack on Ukraine and how the U.S. would respond.
Plus, why Verizon is changing up all their phone contracts to 3 years. That's coming up in Tech Bites.
Back to TransGuide real quick. Check on the roads. Not a soul out there. 281 in Grayson for the moment, but that will change, of course, as we ramp up the morning commute. Justin is in for Steven today. He'll keep an eye on traffic all morning long.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And making news this hour, a man ejected from his vehicle in a wrong way crash here in San Antonio overnight. We have details coming up.
I'm ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. The U.S. is now warning that Russia could invade Ukraine at any time. This comes as top leaders meet today. The latest coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we're starting at a chilly 43 degrees out there, but I'm hoping to see the sun once again.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, February 7th.
Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a beautiful weekend. I know I really like the change going from 20-something to sunshine.
Oh, it was really nice yesterday, and we hope to stay warm all this week. We deserve it, Mike Osterhage.
Oh, yes, indeed. Cool mornings and then warm afternoons, and we'll add a couple of degrees each and every day, but it's going to be just fantastic week. Plenty of sunshine as well. We do have some clouds right now, and 41 degrees, so we've dropped down just a couple of notches, and we'll drop down maybe another degree or two when it's all said and done. We do have a slight bit of a breeze out there this morning, and we're going to be up into the low 50s already by early afternoon, and then topping off in the upper 50s, so not quite up to yesterday's 61, but right in that ballpark. As far as the aquifer, it continued to go up, really benefiting from all the rain that we had late last week, as well as other forms of precipitation. Mountain cedar and mold are both on the low side. A little bit of a breeze means we do have a slight bit of a wind chill to deal with this morning, and winds are out of the north about 5-10 miles per hour. Not overly windy, but they will be picking up somewhat later on this afternoon. So you probably want to keep a light sweater, sweatshirt, jacket handy. And wind chill temperatures, again, we're down to 37 here in town. Same thing in Bulverde. Feels like 33 at Randolph. 27's wind chill right now in Kerrville. So mostly cloudy skies this morning. So that's acting like a bit of a blanket. Yes, it is cold. Only one freezing reading is showing up right now. That's out in portions of the hill country, but maybe freezing in your backyard out there. Sunny and coolish, upper 50s later on today. Tomorrow, a bit milder, and that's the case each and every day this week. We'll make it up close to 70 by the end of the week, and then a little bit of a front moves on through here. Not a real strong one. That's just going to trim temperatures off for the weekend, and maybe a couple of more clouds by Sunday, but still just fantastic. I mean, really beautiful weather for anything outside throughout the rest of the week. Details are coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen's off today, so Mr. Justin Horn. Round of applause, folks.
Yeah, hey there, Mike. Nice to work with you. We're not talking about ice, huh?
True, you're right.
It is actually pretty nice out this morning. The morning commute just in its infancy, but we're starting to see traffic pick up. So let's look at some of the TransGuide shots here. And most everything's pretty quiet. Not a lot of traffic on the roadway. And we expect that'll be the case here next 45 minutes or so. After that, it begins to really pick up, of course. As we look around the city, most of the roads, again, pretty quiet. I do want to take you to one spot, though, and this is Loop 410 and Exchange Parkway. You see some of the flashing lights there on the service road. That is coming in as a structure fire. It's not an accident, but we'll keep an eye on that and see what that does for traffic. Probably a little slow there on the service road. Otherwise, as we look across the city, a lot of green, so everything's moving pretty quickly. I do want to point out one thing up near New Braunfels. FM 306 here, they've added a new displaced turn lane if you're going westbound. It's one of those new intersections. So there's Buc-ee's right there. You'll stay to the left if you're turning left onto I-35 South. So just a new feature there. We're keeping an eye on all the incidents across town, and we'll have much more if anything else pops up, guys.
Thanks, Justin.
New this morning, a wrong-way driver was ejected from his truck after crashing into another vehicle on San Pedro late last night.
And Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio. And Sarah, what are police saying about this crash?
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Stephanie. So that wrong-way driver who was ejected from his truck is in serious condition. He was transported to University Hospital. A sergeant on scene told us the wrong-way driver was in a gray truck driving northbound in the southbound lanes of San Pedro near Asbury United Methodist Church. Now, this is about 0.7 miles north of Hildebrand. This happened right before 11:30 last night. To avoid crashing head on with the wrong-way driver, a driver in a white truck swerved, but both trucks still ended up colliding. The wrong-way driver was thrown from his truck. Police say his truck kept going down the road and stopped in front of a nearby church. The driver and two passengers of the white truck appear to be okay. Now, police believe alcohol may play a factor in this crash, and the wrong-way driver that was taken to the hospital, he or she will be assessed for driving while intoxicated. Mark and Steph.
Sarah. An active service member who was shot and killed in Manhattan, Kansas has San Antonio ties. 21-year-old Josh Wardy is a former basketball player and alum of Taft High School. And according to authorities, early Saturday morning, Wardy and 19-year-old Tremel Montgomery got into an argument at a bar, and it escalated to Wardy being shot and killed. Montgomery tried running from the scene but was chased and shot in the leg by police. He is in stable condition at an area hospital. Both men were service members stationed at Fort Riley. Wardy's former basketball teammates and coach tell us that he was one of the most genuine people they have ever met.
Everybody knew Wardy was touched by him. He made the world a better place every day. He affected everybody's lives. And
he treated everyone like they were the most important person in the room. His legacy and his memory is going to live on, and we're going to make sure of that.
His former head coach, Carl Lawson, says they hope to name an award after Wardy so he will never be forgotten.
President Joe Biden meets at the White House today with Germany's new chancellor to discuss the country's reliance on Russian energy supplies.
This comes as French President Emmanuel Macron says a deal to de-escalate tensions could be within reach, though fears for an invasion of Ukraine still looms. ABC's Em Nguyen is in Washington.
Ukraine bracing for a possible Russian invasion, a stark warning from the White House that an attack could come at any time.
It could take a number of different forms. It could happen as soon as tomorrow, or it could take some weeks yet.
President Biden today at the White House meeting with the German chancellor to discuss their commitment to deter Russian aggression, but not without controversy. Amid talks of how to punish Russia if it invades Ukraine, Germany in the past has been reluctant to cut off a pipeline, Nord Stream 2, that will push gas directly from Russia to Germany. This comes as the U.S. now estimates Russia has 70% of forces in place that would be needed to attack Ukraine, with plans to gather 30,000 more troops in Belarus and potentially capture the Ukrainian capital of Kiev.
He has put himself in a position with military deployments to be able to act aggressively against Ukraine at any time now.
Despite that, French President Emmanuel Macron is arriving in Moscow today to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Macron says he believes a deal to avoid war in Ukraine is within reach, telling a French newspaper that he hopes diplomatic talks will be enough to prevent military conflict, just as Ukrainian civilians intensified training to defend themselves if necessary.
When a question came up about sending more U.S. troops if Putin doesn't de-escalate the situation, President Biden deflected, saying he wouldn't speculate. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Time right now, 5:07, 42 degrees.
And still ahead, why Spotify CEO says 70 Rogan's podcast episodes have been moved.
And up.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, starting at 42 degrees. It's chilly, but it's not 20 degrees, so be thankful for that. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, 5:10. Lots of big events happening so far at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics.
ABC's Rich Cantu has the update.
Disappointment for defending U.S. Olympic champion Michaela Schifrin, who's out after she was disqualified in her first run of the giant slalom. She slipped and fell just a few seconds after starting. Snowboarder Julia Marino earning Team USA its first medal of the 2022 Winter Olympics, taking home the silver in the women's snowboard slopestyle competition. But a disappointing outcome for Jamie Anderson. After winning back-to-back golds at the last two Olympics, she fell in the final run of her first jump, finishing in 9th place, giving the U.S. its second medal of the Beijing Games. The U.S. women's hockey team, the defending Olympic champions, remain undefeated in the preliminary round after back-to-back shutouts. The team set to take on rival Canada after a decisive 8-0 win over Switzerland. Vincent Zhu, both two-time Olympians, landed Team USA in second place behind Russia in the team event. Meantime, the International Olympic Committee says its president met face-to-face with tennis star Peng Shuai and that she planned to attend several of the games in the coming days. Peng disappeared from social media after she accused a former top Chinese Communist Party official of sexual assault late last year. Richard Cantu, ABC News, New York.
All right, here's the latest medal count, and they are ranking this based on gold medals. Sweden in first place with 3 golds. Then Russian Olympic Committee, Netherlands, and Germany in the top 4. USA currently sitting in 14th as far as that count goes. Overall total medals, Russia Olympic Committee leads the way with 6.
And time now, it's 5:12 and 42 degrees for now.
Still ahead, why Verizon's phone contracts are all 3 years now.
And Amazon's famous digital assistant is coming to thousands of Jaguar and Land Rover vehicles.
Rich, indulgent chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. With love from San Francisco. Ghirardelli Caramel Squares. Makes life a bite better.
I brought in Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein. Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health.
Celebrate Valentine's Day for less with Kohl's. Get 65% off jewelry, 25% off festive pajamas, and 25% off cozy home finds. Plus, get free store pickup. Kohl's.
Spotify has dropped several past episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, less of Joe Rogan on Spotify. The streaming service has removed 70 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience after videos surfaced of the comic using a racial slur over the years. Rogan has apologized and insists the clips are taken out of context. And the company's CEO, in a letter to employees, said he, quote, does not believe that silencing Joe is the answer. Verizon is now locking customers into 3-year contracts when they purchase a new phone with monthly installments, the company dropping its shorter 24 and 30-month plans. Finally, Alexa is getting into more vehicles. The Amazon virtual assistant is now available for over 200,000 newer model Jaguar and Land Rover vehicles. Alexa can be delivered to those vehicles using a free software update, saving customers a trip to the dealership. Those are your Tech Bites.
42 degrees. We're going to talk to Mike in a moment.
Let's go ahead and check in with Justin Horn. It looks like things are pretty calm out there for the most part.
So far, so good. Not a lot of traffic on this Monday morning, at least so far. I think as we get into the next hour, you'll see quite a bit more showing up on our TransGuide cameras. But everything looks good here. Traffic is flowing 410 and Exchange Parkway. We had some flashing lights earlier. Those have since gone away. Looks like everything is good there. And as we look at 281 in St. Mary's, smooth sailing there, too. Looks like there's just not a lot of traffic so far this morning. 1604 in Houseman, 90 at 36th. Looks good there. I-10 in Frio, same story. So you get the general idea here. As we look across the city, most everything looking green. There are a few areas of construction along I-35, and then 1604 on the north side. You'll run into maybe a few slowdowns a little bit later this morning because of that. And I mentioned earlier at I-35 FM 306, they just added a new displaced turn lane. This is Buc-ee's right here. If you're traveling up I-35, you're turning left onto I-35 south. You're going to stay to the left. They've got new lights up. This is supposed to open around noon today, so just a heads up for people who are traveling in that area. Another quick check of TransGuide. Again, smooth sailing. And don't forget, school was out a couple days last week because of weather. But back in session, remember those school zones and slow down if you see those flashing lights, guys.
Thank you, Justin.
Is it just me, or does the term displaced turn lane sound a little odd?
Oh, yeah. It sounds, but I guess because we've gotten used to it over the past few years.
Because you think, a displaced turn, what?
It's not in the right place, right?
Yeah, I guess it's not being on the left side. So
it is kind of weird.
It can be kind of confusing.
Yes.
Yeah, just one of those things on a Monday morning you're kind of going, huh?
Well, somebody's like, I was trying to leave Buc-ee's and I took a left and then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, how many folks did this last week? And I remember as a kid growing up, used to do that, filling up balloons and everything else. But, fill up a cup of water and leave it outside. And just a lot of fun to kind of, those little simple things to do in the cold weather. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And we do have some clouds hanging around here right now. Obviously, it is otherwise clear out there, other than the cloudy skies, clear as far as visibility, and nothing going on the roads, as Justin was just talking about. 41 degrees right now in town, so we're about at our maybe a few degrees below the average normal low temperature right now. 42 at Port SA. Freezing comfort, but again, in your backyard out in around Kerrville, maybe perhaps right around freezing temperatures, and we'll drop another degree or two, but again, the cloud cover acts like a bit of a blanket out there, and slight bit of a breeze also. We've got winds out of the north to northwest at about 5-10 miles per hour, so shave off a few degrees. Feels like 27 in Kerrville, 30 Lost Maples, and the wind chill is 33 right now at Randolph. We're going to have enough of a breeze out there today, about 10-20 mile per hour winds, a couple of gusts at times, and it's going to add a little bite to some of those temperatures. So jacket, sweatshirt, it's going to be a pretty good idea. Plenty of sunshine, though. Out in the sun, it's going to feel really nice, but it'll cool off quickly when you get in the shade and once the sun starts to go down. As far as the humidity, the wind flow coming in here out of the north, and the humidity, dew point temperature is going to remain fairly dry, so that will once again allow for a cool morning tomorrow. And then the wind will start to shift around out of the southeast, but notice how we don't have this huge influx of humidity at all. So slightly higher dew point temperatures, which will keep low temperatures slightly higher as the week rolls on, but not anything just way off the charts as far as heat and humidity. A couple of sprinkles out here to the west. Those seem to be dying off. If you get one of them, it's kind of an anomaly at best. There's the low clouds, this darker shade of gray right now, and they are going to be clearing out as the morning rolls on. And then nothing upstream from us. Any sort of activity is staying well up there in the northern portion of the United States. And remember, it is cold up there in International Falls, obviously 13 below. But remember, at one point last week, I think it got down to about 40 degrees below zero. But most of the country is still below freezing, although things are kind of modifying slightly as time rolls on. And our temperatures, the trend this week is for an increase, but just a couple of degrees each and every day. No big spikes in temperatures this week. 50, mostly sunny skies today at noon. High temperature today up to 58. Just a hint more humidity out there, and that's going to keep temperatures a degree or two down from yesterday, but still really pleasant. Down to 34 tomorrow morning, up to 65, and then again add to that 1 or 2 degrees each and every day, and it'll make it into the upper 60s, 70 on Friday to round out the work week and school week, and then down a few notches by the weekend.
If you missed it last half hour, Mike was giving you guys a gentle reminder that Monday, a week from today, is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Super Bowl is Sunday, Money Valentine's Day. Don't mess it up. Okay? All right? There are snack priorities,
Yes.
and then there are sweetheart priorities,
Yes.
if you know what we mean.
Yes. You have plenty of time to plan. Yeah.
Then buy your flowers on Saturday.
There you go. That way it's done. But you got to hide them, though, right?
Do you? Is it expected, or I was thinking about that. I mean, do you have to bring them on? So
You could buy them Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Just saying.
Ooh, whoa. Raise the game really high. Wow. Every guy in the studio just went, We're doing the math on that.
Okay, good suggestion, Steph.
Okay,
thanks.
522, 42 degrees.
Just adjusting. And still ahead in your morning spotlight, another Scream sequel gets the green light and awards for The Power of the Dog.
Lotto numbers. This all adds up to how much we're going to spend both Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Pick three numbers: 051, Fireball 1. Daily four numbers: 5917, Fireball 5. Of course, they're worth it.
Of course.
Just want to put that out there.
Worth the flowers.
Oh, goodness. Wow. Cash 5, 10, 11, 13, 26, 35. Your Lotto Texas 5, 16, 30, 47, 49, 51. And your Powerball numbers 5, 16, 27, 39, 61, Powerball 24, Power Play 2. Good luck.
526, two things the movie business loves: award season and a successful franchise.
CNN's David Daniel has news on both in today's Hollywood Minute.
The killer is a part of something in the past. This one just feels different.
There's more Scream ahead. The success of the fifth film in the franchise, more than $100 million in worldwide grosses on a budget of about $20 million, has prompted Paramount to greenlight a follow-up from the same directors and writers. Filming is expected to begin this summer.
It's just a man, Peter. Only another man.
The Power of the Dog has dominated this year's London Critics Circle Film Awards. The Oscar favorite was named Film of the Year. Jane Campion won Director of the Year. Benedict Cumberbatch was named Actor of the Year. And Supporting Actor of the Year went to Cody Smith-McPhee.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head because that was our goal.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is headed to Connecticut. The award-winning multi-hyphenate is this year's honoree for the Changemaker Gala at the Greenwich International Film Festival. Miranda is being honored May 25th for his work with the Miranda a family foundation, which supports education, the arts, and social justice, as well as relief and rebuilding efforts in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
527, still 42 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, the White House says Russia could further invade Ukraine any day now. We're going to have the latest on the situation.
Plus, a new map is showing which Valentine's candy each state prefers most.
A warming fire goes all wrong south of downtown. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. Firefighters say a fire started in a fireplace, didn't stay there. I'll tell you more about it.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we're starting at a cold 42 degrees. I have to admit, I am looking forward to a little bit of a warm up today.
Yeah, sunshine all week would be very nice. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. It is February 7th.
I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know at least yesterday afternoon, the weather was cooperating.
Yeah, it wasn't bad there in the sunshine. Still a little cool in the shadows. Mike is here with more on our work week forecast. Back to work, back to school for everybody.
Yes, indeed. And grab a coat this morning. May need it by this afternoon. We'll still be just in the upper 50s. So in the sunshine, yeah, it'll be fine. But also it's going to be breezy this afternoon. You get in the shadows, pretty chilly out there. So jacket, sweatshirt's a pretty good idea still. We're at 41 degrees right now. Dew points at 32. Dry enough air out there. We do have a breeze, though, so that adds to some of the wind chill effect. It's not overly windy right now, about 5-10 miles per hour, but that puts the wind chill down to 33 at Randolph, 37 here in town. Feels like 27 right now at Kerrville. And as far as the allergens, mountain cedar and mold are both on the low side. Mountain cedar 80, just 10 with mold, and that's probably going to be on the low side as well. Mold should be today because of the dry air that's in place. Mostly sunny skies. We've got some clouds hanging around here this morning, but up to 50 at noon and then 58 for a high temperature. And like I said, there will be somewhat of a breeze out there. So that 58, getting shadows, can have a little bit of a nip to it. Now, temperatures will go up a few degrees each and every day this week. Nothing just outrageously hot, but it's going to be a fantastic week. Lack of rain notwithstanding. Weekend forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Justin Horn is in for Stephen this morning. Anything going on, sir?
Oh, it's still quiet, Mike. That's good news. We like that on a Monday morning. Of course, the kiddos got a 4-day weekend. School traffic's going to be back in session today, so just keep that in mind. But so far, so good. 281 in Grayson, everything's flowing well there. We've got the TransGuide here on rotation because there's nothing specifically to point out. Most of the traffic is moving just fine. Now, keep in mind the morning commute is still in its infancy, so this will pick up some. You know the normal spots where traffic will thicken up throughout the morning. But all the flyover ramps, everything's good here. 35 in Walsham, traffic is moving just fine. As we look across the city, all green, so that means traffic is flowing at normal speeds. There are a couple of areas where we're dealing with some construction. I-35, the typical spots. Also on the north side along 1604, there's some construction there. But again, everything's flowing well. We'll keep an eye on TransGuide should anything change, and we'll let you know. Guys?
Thank you, Justin. New this morning, it appears that a fire that was meant to burn in a fireplace did much more. It spread throughout a home south of downtown, destroying it. Katrina Weber is in the 400 block of Cass Avenue near Nogalitos and Interstate 10 with a live report. And Katrina, did everyone make it out okay?
Yes, firefighters tell us that the homeowner had already saved himself. He was outside when they arrived, but there wasn't much they could do to save this home at all. The fire actually got into the attic of this home in the 400 block of Cass Avenue before 1 this morning. Now, before fire crews had a chance to do anything, the fire had begun to spread throughout the home. Again, the owner escaped on his own. Investigators say long before there was fire, though, there was smoke in the attic coming from the chimney. They believe the fireplace was defective and had been allowing that smoke to pass through the chimney into the attic for some time. And they say it seems the owner was well aware of the problem. The firefighters told us a big clue came from a big sign that was in the front yard and had been there for some time. They say that it told neighbors not to worry about any smoke that they were seeing, that the house was not on fire. But of course, all of that changed early this morning. Reporting live south of downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. White House says the timeline of Russia further invading Ukraine is, quote, in the window. Russian military personnel are moving into position along the Ukrainian border.
And NATO is preparing to respond if needed. CNN's Amy Kiley has this update.
Any day now, Russia could take military action against Ukraine.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has more than just troops waiting along the border.
The fuel, the field hospitals, the blood supplies, all the things that they would need for a full-scale invasion are also now being put into place.
The Pentagon says Ukraine's capital could fall within days if an attack happens, and tens of thousands of people could be killed. For some, the threat is bringing back memories of the Cold War.
This is a provocative, heinous vanity project by Putin, who I think has every indication that he wants to reconstitute the Soviet Union.
NATO was formed in response to the Soviet Union, and its members are working together now. President Joe Biden has ordered almost 3,000 U.S. troops to reinforce NATO allies in Poland and Romania. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visits the White House today, and Ukraine is top on the agenda. Meanwhile, Russia appears to be getting at least a bit of support from China.
We saw in the Security Council on Monday, China side with Russia in the efforts to block the Security Council from having a meeting to discuss the situation in Ukraine.
NATO hopes to avoid armed conflict. Sanctions are in the works, and
Russia could choose to take the diplomatic path instead.
Amy Kiley, KSAT 12 News.
In Nevada, rescue divers able to recover the body of an ice skater Sunday who drowned on a lake at the California-Nevada border. The victim, part of a group of 6 who had been skating on the ice at Stampede Reservoir near Reno this weekend. When the ice unexpectedly gave way, 2 of the skaters were able to pull most of the others out of the freezing water. The local sheriff's department sent helicopters to look for the missing skater. After hours of searching over the weekend, the local sheriff's office found the body late Sunday morning.
The U.S. Coast Guard has rescued 10 Cuban migrants from a sinking vessel off the Florida coast. When guardsmen spotted them around 40 miles off the coast of Key Largo, they had no life jackets. If the Coast Guard had not intervened, it's believed the migrants would not have survived the night. 4 had to be transported to Florida hospitals for medical treatment. 6 were sent back to Cuba.
5:37, we are just a few days away from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo.
Sarah Acosta-Jones is in the studio to tell us more about how they are getting ready. Good morning, Sarah.
Morning. Good morning, guys. So earlier, our 9 a.m. producer Dylan kind of announced in the newsroom, "What's mutton busting?" Because he's not from here. And we all looked at him like, only the cutest, best event of the rodeo.
They didn't have that in Louisiana where he's from.
No. But it is officially rodeo time. You know, we had the cattle drive this weekend. It was a lot of fun seeing all the crews and teams out there. In just a few hours, all the dirt will move into the AT&T Center. That means it will change from the home of our Spurs to the home of the rodeo, and it begins this morning at 8 a.m. So the fun kicks off Thursday and runs through February 27th at the AT&T Center. It will be open every day from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. There is a huge entertainment lineup, starting with Toby Keith, who kicks everything off on the first night, and you can catch the PRCA Rodeo in concert beginning at 7. So there will be a ton to do at the rodeo this year. Right now on our website, we have everything you need to know as you plan your trip. Just head to ksat.com/rodeo. Mark and staff.
Sounds fun. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, ma'am. 5:38, about 42 degrees.
And still ahead, find out which type of Valentine's candy each state prefers.
Next, how a local doctor talks about some of the best ways to prevent heart disease during American Heart Month.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it looks like we're going to have some chilly starts in the morning, but maybe sunshine throughout the afternoons this week. We'll be checking with Mike later on.
.41 on your Monday morning. February is American Heart Month. During this time, it is important to better understand, prevent, and treat heart disease, which is the leading cause of death across our country.
CDC says you can greatly reduce your risk for heart disease through lifestyle changes. And Dr. Don Hui, cardiac surgeon at UT Health San Antonio, joined Leading SA to talk about the issue and some solutions.
Yes, heart disease is the leading cause of death across the country for both men and for women. And this situation did not get any better during the pandemic. So we spoke to the doctor about warning signs that you need to know about and easy ways to keep that heart moving and keep you safe. Here's a little bit of our conversation.
Not only is physical activity important for heart health, it has really strong positive effects for mental health, which is so important during this pandemic. We recommend at least 30 minutes of moderate activity daily. And getting physical doesn't require a gym. There are many creative ways to use your environment, such as using the stairs in your building, walking in your neighborhood. San Antonio has a great system of parks and greenway trails. And with cold weather, indoors you can walk or run in place or do jumping jacks. If you have children or grandchildren, playing tag or dancing to music with them are great family activities. And it's a great way to help set those habits early for the little ones.
You can watch our entire conversation right now. Just head to the Leading SA section of KSAT.com. We have Leading SA every Sunday at 8 a.m. So we'll see you next weekend, guys. Back to you.
And time now, it's 5:42 and about 42 degrees out there.
Glad you're with us. Next, we're diving into how the Edwards Aquifer works and why it is so heavily regulated. .45 on the dot. A new episode of KSAT Explains is out tomorrow.
And this week, the Explains team partnered with meteorologist Justin Horn and Sarah Spivey for an episode all about the Edwards Aquifer. So here's Myra Arthur with a preview.
If you're a regular KSAT 12 viewer, you've seen this before.
The aquifer's down today, 0.4 of a foot to 662.5. We need some rain.
The aquifer yesterday did not change.
I want to show you the aquifer level. It's actually up 1/10 of a foot over the past 24 hours, which is good, but still below the monthly average.
Our Weather Authority team reporting on the Edwards Aquifer water levels. The aquifer is the primary source of drinking water for millions of us around South Central Texas and the Hill Country. So you know it's important, but maybe you still have some questions. In this episode of KSAT Explains, we're diving into how the Edwards Aquifer works, why it's so heavily regulated, and we're learning about the conservation efforts in place that help keep the Edwards Aquifer and the creatures who call the aquifer home healthy.
And KSAT Explains, the Edwards Aquifer will be available to stream on demand this Tuesday starting at 7 p.m. on KSAT.com and KSAT's Facebook page. In your morning consumer headlines, rising battery prices may start to put the brakes on the growth of electric vehicles. So for more than a decade, the cost of batteries has dropped. However, prices for some key ingredients are now surging, including cobalt, nickel sulfate, and lithium carbonate.
Type of candy you get from your Valentine might depend on what state you're in. CandyStore.com released a list of the top-selling Valentine's Day candies for each state. Here in Texas, seems like a lot of people prefer Hershey's Kisses, winning. People in 12 states prefer Candy Hearts. 16 states favor heart-shaped boxes of chocolates. I didn't do my Forrest Gump there. You're welcome. And 9 states preferred M&M's. Valentine's Day candy sales dropped more than 20% last year because of the pandemic. And this year, National Retail Federation expects near record-breaking candy sales as we try to get closer to something resembling normal.
Yeah. Love Hershey's. Well, remember, we were so disappointed. Was it Friday that we got the news that the prices were going to be going up a little bit?
Yes. Chocolate prices were, like a lot of other things, they were going to boost prices, and that cost was going to be passed along to us, the consumers.
Well, we have to pay it because it's Valentine's Day is around the corner.
It's what it is, Steph.
Yeah.
Let's check out traffic. Here's Justin in for Steven.
So three sets of flowers, right?
Yes.
And chocolate?
Yes.
Paying for it all.
Multiple days of chocolates too from you?
No, just one day of chocolate. Yeah.
Just one. Okay. We're good. Okay, let's look at traffic this morning. Everything's flowing nicely. I don't want to jinx anything because so far it's been a great Monday on the roads. No issues. 281 at Grayson, everything's flowing fine there. I-10 Hackberry, same story. Just not a lot of traffic yet. Looks like people may be getting a little bit of a late start this morning, and that's okay. It is Monday. 35, the upper level there looks good too. 35 at 37 South. Not a lot of traffic there either. So again, as we look across the city, there are very few incidents to speak of. We have a little construction here and there. You know the spots. You know where there will be some slowdowns a little bit later this morning. But if you're leaving the house right now, all is well. Do want to point this out. I-35, actually 306, FM 306 at I-35. There's Buc-ee's right there. This is north of New Braunfels, just north. They've put in a new displaced turn lane. It's supposed to open today around noontime. And you'll stay to the left and turn left onto I-35 south there. So just a little bit of a change. TxDOT tweeted that out a little bit earlier. Other than that, everything looks good. And hopefully it'll stay smooth sailing throughout the rest of the morning, guys.
Sure hope so. Thank you, Justin.
Honestly, be honest.
Okay.
Who has stuck their finger in the bottom of a piece of chocolate in the assorted to see what it is?
What?
You pick a piece of candy and you stick your finger in to see if it's the caramel, or sometimes it's that.
I just bite it.
That doesn't sound sanitary, Mike.
Bite it and put it back?
Well, it's not box that we're going to share with. Like, have you ever put your finger? You have, Mark?
No.
I'm not going to comment about that. I'm with her. I'm kind of paranoid about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's unsanitary. But that's just me. Anyway, switching gears. I know some places didn't close during the icy weather, and it includes local bird feeders.
Aww.
Yes, and what you don't notice in there right off the bat, you see the icicles from that bird feeder. Those two cardinals right there.
There's 3 of them right there.
There's 3.
There's one hiding over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see that one. So gorgeous picture though. It is so cool to see. It was such a pain for a lot of folks, but just those beautiful pictures that everybody took. We got some clouds out there right now, so sunrise, it's not going to be the spectacular, but the next few days we should have gorgeous sunrises and sunsets. Today's sunset will be very, very nice. Drop down below freezing right now, and Helotes at 29 degrees, 37 Bernie Stage, and then drop down again below freezing up there in Comfort, Kerrville, close to it. We do have a breeze this morning, 5-10 mile per hour winds, so just adds enough of a wind chill to some of these temperatures. Feels like 27 right now in Kerrville and 33 at Randolph. The humidity is obviously not high, a little bit higher obviously than what it was over the weekend, which allowed temperatures with that bone dry air, allowed temperatures to get down into the low and mid 20s. So we're going to be staying right about where we are thanks to the cloud cover and some of these dew point temperatures, which are relatively speaking somewhat higher. Obviously, it's not oppressively humid, and we're going to keep some drier air around here throughout the rest of today as well as the next few days. The wind will eventually start to shift around out of the southeast a bit more, so that's going to start to pull in slightly more humidity, holding low temperatures slightly higher. But again, we're not talking anything too extreme either end of the scale. It's not going to be too hot, too humid, nor are we going to be seeing anything like we saw late last week. We've got some clouds hanging around here right now. Like I said, those low clouds, they will be breaking up later on this morning, and there's really not a heck of a lot going on around the country right now. Yes, it is cold throughout most of the country. Wind chill temperatures are make you stand up and take notice. So we've got a slight disturbance trying to move on through here. It's not really doing much of anything. Going to help to hold temperatures in check a little bit. And then we keep this northwesterly flow around here throughout the next couple of days. That's going to keep us in beautiful weather. We really won't have, after this morning, much, if any, clouds at all the rest of the week, finally by going in toward the weekend. But things will not really change all that much, if at all. Temperatures will get slightly warmer. That low tries to move on in here, but it looks like that thing's going to be staying further on down to the south of us. So it's not really going to have any effect on our weather. Maybe another one coming in here by the middle part of next week. But now through the rest of this week and even into middle of next week, there's hardly a drop of rain, not a drop of rain in sight. 50 at noon today, mostly sunny skies. High temperature then makes it up to 58. And next few days, add a degree or two each and every day. Low temperature closer to freezing tomorrow morning. And then we get up into the low 40s, mid 40s, pushing 70 on Friday. Slightly cooler by the weekend.
Sounds good. And a quick hats off to all the CPS linemen out working all hours last week trying to get things back to normal. They did a great job.
Yes, they did. Indeed. Got restored things pretty quickly.
5:53, about 42 degrees.
And top new movies hit theaters this weekend. Find out which beat the Marvel competitor for number 1.
Coming up, the high-stakes diplomatic mission this morning. French President Macron is set to meet with Vladimir Putin in Moscow, trying to prevent a Russian invasion of Ukraine. As the Biden administration warns, Putin could attack at any moment. That and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
$4.2 million gave Sing 2 fifth place and a domestic total of $140 million. Scream fell to fourth place on ticket sales of $4.7 million. Spider-Man No Way Home dropped to third, but made another $9.6 million for a domestic total of $749 million. Moonfall launched in second place with $10 million, a figure dwarfed by the disaster flick's reported $138 million budget. Every Jackass movie has opened at #1, and Jackass Forever continued the streak, topping the chart with $23.5 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Still ahead the next hour of Good Morning San Antonio. The latest on an overnight fire just south of downtown. We'll tell you if anyone was hurt. And Justin is in the driver's seat this morning, keeping an eye on traffic for us. We'll check back in with him. We have quite a few more cars on the road than we did 90 minutes ago. We'll see you closer to the top of the hour. You're watching GMSA.
A wrong-way crash on the city's north side causes one person to be thrown from the truck. We're going to have those details.
I'm ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. The U.S. is now warning that Russia could invade Ukraine at any time. This comes as top leaders meet today. The latest coming up.
Comedian Joe Rogan continues to be the center of controversy. We'll tell you why Spotify has dropped dozens of episodes of his popular podcast.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we are starting at 42 degrees, and it kind of seems like a piece of cake, right? After experiencing 20s.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It's Monday, February 7th.
Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Just loved the sunshine, especially yesterday afternoon.
It took a while to thaw out this weekend, but yesterday was picture perfect. We're hoping to kind of continue this trend for, 5 to 7 days. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike.
Short answer.
Moving on to traffic now. Just kidding.
We're happy. We're happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's not as cold this morning as what it was over the weekend. 22 Saturday morning, mid-20s yesterday. And then yesterday we did get up to 61. This morning we do have some clouds out there, but we can see that star back there, or I believe that is the planet Venus. I'm going to double check on that one. 41 in town, so we've been steady for the past hour. 30 now in Comfort, 37 Bernie State, so not a whole lot of freezing temperatures out there. Again, thanks to the cloud cover, somewhat extra humidity on top of that. There is a breeze, though, so we do have some wind chill readings. Feels like 31 at Randolph, 29 right now is the wind chill in Kerrville. It's going to be breezy enough throughout the day, so a jacket's going to be a pretty good idea. Mountain Cedar and Mold are both on the low side. Of course, the updated count is going to be coming out in about hour and a half or so. This morning, we'll hold pretty steady at where we are right now, fluctuate a degree or two. Again, somewhat of a breeze out of the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll make it all the way up to 50 at noon. Some leftover clouds this morning, and then they will completely clear out, really, and we have nothing but wall-to-wall sunshine throughout the day. 58 for a high temperature, and boy, if you like today, you're going to love the forecast. Will it hold through the weekend? Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Justin Horn is in for Steven this morning, and what's going on, sir?
Hey there, Mike. Everything's moving at normal posted speeds. That's what we like to see on a Monday morning. A lot of the kiddos, of course, had a 4-day weekend here, so it's back to school this morning. And traffic is trying to pick up a little bit. Just looking at some of the TransGuide pictures, we're seeing more traffic starting to come through here. But so far, it has been smooth sailing this morning, and we like to see that. That's 281 to 410. Looks good there. 281 to St. Mary's. It's been flowing nicely all morning long. And one more shot here, 37 and 9th Street. Just not a lot of traffic out there. I think getting kind of a late start to the morning commute. We'll see how things wind up a little bit later, but so far so good. As we look across the city, a lot of green on the map. So again, everything's moving at posted speeds here. Could be a little bit of construction here along I-35. We're used to that by now. 1604 on the north side also dealing with some construction, but all your normal times coming into downtown. That's the way it looks at the moment. One more check of TransGuide, 35 in Walsham, also flowing nicely. And we'll continue to keep an eye on all the roads for you throughout the rest of the morning. Guys?
Thank you, Justin. New this morning, a defective fireplace being blamed for a house fire just south of downtown. It happened around 1 this morning on Cass Avenue, not far from I-35 and Nogalitos. Firefighters say the fire had spread from the chimney to the attic by the time they arrived. While the homeowner was able to make it out safely, the house is being called a total loss. Katrina Weber is staying on top of this story and will join us live in the next half hour of GMSA.
And San Antonio police say a wrong-way driver is recovering after being thrown from his truck overnight. Investigators tell us the wrong-way driver collided with another vehicle on San Pedro, not far from Hildebrand. Police believe that alcohol might have been a factor in this crash. The wrong-way driver was taken to the hospital in serious condition. He will be checked for DWI, and no one else was hurt.
The mayor of Kerrville issuing a disaster declaration in response to the winter weather that hit the area along with other parts of Texas. This declaration will allow the city to use resources provided the city and state as part of their emergency management plan. You might remember Thursday an 18-wheeler jackknifed on I-10 out near Kerrville, causing traffic to be disrupted for hours. One person died as a result of the crash. The disaster declaration will last 7 days unless Kerrville's mayor sees a reason to extend it. An active service member shot and killed in Manhattan, Kansas, has ties to the city of San Antonio. 20-year-old Josh Wardy is a former basketball player and alum of Taft High School. According to authorities, early Saturday morning, Wardy and 19-year-old Tremel Montgomery got into an argument at a bar, and it escalated with Wardy being shot and killed. Montgomery tried to run from the scene, but was chased and shot in the leg by police. He's in stable condition at an area hospital. Both men were service members stationed at the U.S. Army's Fort Riley.
A man is in the hospital after being shot by a New Braunfels police officer. It happened around 5 a.m. yesterday morning in a home off Redbud Lane. Officers tell us he actually came out of the home with a sword and allegedly lunged toward an officer. The officer then shot at him, and another officer used a taser. He now faces a charge of aggravated assault of a peace officer.
Jury selection begins today in the federal hate crimes trial for the 3 men who was convicted of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Government lawyers will try to prove the men chased down and shot the 25-year-old to death because he was black. Gregory and Travis McMichael withdrew their guilty pleas last week after the judge overseeing the case rejected plea deals that the men had reached with prosecutors over the Arbery family's objections. 2 of the men were sentenced to life in prison after their convictions in Georgia state court last year. To the coronavirus, the CDC reporting that 212 million Americans are now fully vaccinated against COVID. That amounts to about 64% of all Americans.
More than 89 million Americans have been boosted, which amounts to 27% of the total U.S. population. Only one state has less than half of the residents vaccinated now. That's Alabama. About 1 in 5 eligible Americans above the age of 5 have not received any dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Amid growing worries of a Russian attack on Ukraine, President Joe Biden meets at the White House today with the German chancellor to discuss the country's reliance on Russian energy supplies. This comes as French President Emmanuel Macron says a deal to de-escalate tensions could be within reach, though fears for an invasion still looms. ABC's M. Nguyen is in Washington.
Good morning. U.S. troops landed in Poland this weekend as President Biden continues to ramp up reinforcements to NATO allies, all amid Russian military buildup near Ukraine's border.
Ukraine bracing for a possible Russian invasion, a stark warning from the White House that an attack could come at any time.
It could take a number of different forms. It could happen as soon as tomorrow, or it could take some weeks yet.
President Biden today at the White House meeting with the German chancellor to discuss their commitment to deter Russian aggression, but not without controversy. Amid talks of how to punish Russia if it invades Ukraine, Germany in the past has been reluctant to cut off a pipeline, Nord Stream 2, that will push gas directly from Russia to Germany. This comes as the U.S. now estimates Russia has 70% of forces in place that would be needed to attack Ukraine, with plans to gather 30,000 more troops in Belarus and potentially capture the Ukrainian capital of Kiev.
He has put himself in a position with military deployments to be able to act aggressively against Ukraine at any time now.
Despite that, French President Emmanuel Macron is arriving in Moscow today to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Macron says he believes a deal to avoid war in Ukraine is within reach, telling a French newspaper that he hopes diplomatic talks will be enough to prevent military conflict.
When a question came up about sending more U.S. troops if Putin doesn't de-escalate the situation, President Biden deflected, saying he wouldn't speculate. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
608, 42 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, she's been gone for 6 weeks, but volunteers are still looking for 3-year-old Lena Keel. We'll tell you what they're saying about this search.
Plus, how much do you know about your credit? Sarah Costa is standing by right over there with some important things you need to keep in mind.
And taking a look outside with live cam, 42 degrees. I think we can handle it after the 20s, but we are looking forward to some sunshine today. We'll be right back. And welcome back. It's 6:12. Everyone has a credit score and most people have a credit card, but it can be hard to know how credit cards make a credit score go up or down.
Sarah Costa joins us now with some helpful insight, which is always a good thing. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. So while you may know the importance of paying off your credit cards, you also need to remember that how you use your cards can have a big impact on your credit score.
The most important factors when it comes to your credit score is making sure that you're paying your bills on time.
Farnoosh Torabi, editor-at-large at CNET Money, says automating your credit card payments is a great way to make sure that happens.
The best way to remember to pay on time is to set it and forget it. Make sure that you have hooked up a checking account or savings account to your credit card on file. And so whenever that payment is due, it gets cleared.
Another big factor in your credit score is what's known as debt to credit utilization. This is the percentage of the debt on all your credit cards divided by the sum of the credit limits on all of your cards.
Credit scores like to see that utilization at 30% or less. And here's a pro tip. Americans with the highest credit scores, their debt to credit utilization is under 10%.
Torabi says it's a myth that keeping a small balance on your credit cards will help your credit score.
Carrying a balance on your credit card, the only person that's winning is the credit card company because they are collecting interest on that balance.
So while lenders like to see you with a variety of credit, it's not about applying for lots of credit cards. They're really looking at how you manage the ones you do have. And most important thing to remember, keep your credit card balances as low as possible at all times. Mark and Steph.
Thank you, Sarah. Spotify has removed 70 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. The move comes after video surfaced of the comic using a racial slur for years. Rogan has apologized and insists the clips are taken out of context. The company CEO in a letter to employees said he, quote, does not believe that silencing Joe is the answer, end quote. More on this story in our next half hour of GMSA.
And Alexa is getting into more vehicles. The Amazon virtual assistant is now available for over 200,000 newer model Jaguar and Land Rover vehicles. Alexa can be delivered to those vehicles using a free software update, saving customers a trip to the dealership.
We try to avoid saying it out loud, Justin. That's why the weird.
Got it.
Yeah,
I don't want to make people mad.
Because we get emails all saying, thanks for triggering Alexa at 6:15 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Oh, I just did it.
You did it again.
Sorry, that was my fault. I gave you a look and you were explaining it.
I walked right into that. Oh, well.
Good morning.
Yeah. Let's take a look at traffic this morning. TransGuide looking pretty good in most spots. We're still smooth sailing here in a lot of spots. There is nothing that jumps off the page. We've been rotating through TransGuide. It all looks good. We haven't even seen flashing lights. That's the way we like it on a Monday morning. All the posted speeds, everyone's moving at the posted speeds right now. If you're heading in from some of the outside areas outside San Antonio, all green here too. 23 minutes from Lavernia, 26 Bulverde, 19 minutes from Castroville, and clear roads there coming in on 90. As we look across the city, we've got plenty of green going on. Some construction in a few spots here and there, but nothing that's too terrible this morning. And we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but FM 306 here along 35. TxDOT tweeted out that there's going to be a new displaced turn lane starting about noontime today. So basically, you'll stay to the left. It's one of those new intersections to turn left onto 35 South there. So just heads up for folks there around New Braunfels.
Good reminder. And yay, we get to have a school bus.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
It's rolling. It was off a couple days in many places last week.
Still might want to warm up the bus in the car just somewhat because it is chilly out there this morning. Grab a jacket. You may need it throughout the day just because temperatures are only going to be in the upper 50s. We are starting to see the clouds break up in places. Still mostly cloudy skies being reported at the airport, but a lot of partly cloudy spots here and there. So some folks may enjoy a nice sunrise, and then later on today, plenty of sunshine. And that's really going to be the case all week long. 58 high temperature, and there will be that breeze out there. All right. Some more of these great pictures from last week when everything was freezing up. Love that shot with the light bulb and that nice icicle hanging around, the coat of ice all around the light bulb. A very cool picture. Thank you very much for that one. All right, we're not seeing any glow of the sunrise as of yet. Like I said, partly cloudy skies in some places, mostly cloudy out there at the airport. And as far as sunrise and sunset times, back in the shortest day with the winter solstice, we had 10 hours, 15 minutes of sunshine. We gained about 45 minutes between then and now, with the sun coming up at roughly 7:20, and then we gain roughly 11 minutes each and every week going through the end of the month. And by the end of the month, that's when the sun starts coming up at 7 o'clock in the morning, sets just after 6:30 in the evening, 11 and a half hours of daylight. And of course, I hate to mention it, but you know what? Setting clocks forward occurs on the second weekend of March coming. I know the look on Mark's face right now. I know. As calm as I see him. 29 right now in Comfort. Same thing in Helotes. 41 here in town. 38 Randolph. There is a breeze this morning. It's going to be windier this afternoon, but right now we do have somewhat of a wind chill to deal with. 29 Comfort, Kerrville. 31 at Randolph is what it actually feels like, and 36 at Port SA. We obviously have very low humidity. It is higher than what it was over the weekend, which is one of the reasons, and some of that cloud cover, that we're not as cold as over the weekend. And we keep low humidity around here, even though the wind flow is going to start to shift around out of the southeast. So as these dew point temperatures go up just a couple of degrees, that's going to help to keep temperatures up just a couple of degrees in the morning hours. We had a few sprinkly showers, that little glitch out there to the west. But as you can see, these clouds are clearing out actually a lot sooner than expected. So we will have some places a decent sunrise, especially off to the west. More clouds off to the east, then, like I said, plenty of sunshine throughout the day. That is what is in store for us the rest of the week. What's upstream? Nothing but sunshine out there, and really, really pleasant temperatures. So yes, cool in the morning, chilly, but not bone-chilling cold, and not too hot in the afternoon. 50, mostly sunny skies today at noon. High temperature up to 58. Jacket's not a bad idea, especially in the shadows, and it will be breezy. Tomorrow we get down to 34, so that will be the coldest morning, and then we start to get progressively warmer up in the mid-60s. Big warm up tomorrow, and upper 60s Wednesday, Thursday, 70 Friday, and temperatures will be shaved off 1 or 2 degrees over the weekend. A weak front comes through here. It will squeeze out a couple of more clouds. Really doesn't look like we'll have even enough moisture to squeeze out a sprinkle or two with that, but it'll just knock temperatures back down to the upper 50s by Sunday.
Mid-60s to near 70 looks outstanding compared to last week.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Plus, when you have the cool mornings and then, nice afternoons, jacket in the afternoon, but not overly hot, not overly humid either.
Right, and not overly cold. Cool mornings, not cold like you experienced on Saturday morning.
22 degrees starting off Saturday morning. Talking about the cattle drive downtown.
Yes.
But it was so great. People braved the cold and just loved it. It's always fun standing right in the middle of Houston Street and looking down, and everybody lining the sidewalks right there, just having a great time. And of course, rodeo then starts Thursday.
Yes, it does.
It's like a lot of fun.
They're bringing the dirt into the arena today.
That's right.
6:20, about 42 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, the Silver and Black are all set. Speaking of, for their annual rodeo road trip, we're going to have a look at their upcoming schedule.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
If you're 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved in adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with another pneumonia vaccine, ask your doctor if Prevnar 20 could help provide additional protection. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, and joint pain.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
That's why I chose to get vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Because just one dose could help protect me from pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20 today.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a billionaire kidnapping plot thwarted. This dramatic police video showing the moments a SWAT team rescued a housekeeper of billionaire Michael Bloomberg from a Wyoming motel after she'd been abducted at gunpoint from his Colorado ranch, driven across state lines, and held hostage for more than 15 hours.
This strikes me as a very disorganized kidnapping. And unfortunately, that can be some of the most dangerous situations.
Investigators say the suspect forced his way onto the ranch, demanding to know where Bloomberg's 2 adult daughters were, saying he wanted to make an international scene, according to court documents obtained by the Associated Press. But the former New York City mayor, who's estimated to be worth $70 billion, and his family weren't there. We'll have much more on this unfolding case and the latest on the Bloomberg family coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kaylee Hartung, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Our San Antonio Spurs set to head out on their annual rodeo road trip. Here's a look at the next few games. Wednesday, the Spurs are at Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers starting at 6 p.m. Friday, they go to Atlanta to take on the Hawks, and then the team is in New Orleans against the Pelicans coming up on Saturday.
And do not forget to tune in to Instant Replay on Sundays at 11 p.m. It's the home for all of your sports highlights, scores, and schedules. So this Sunday, we're going to have a full recap of Super Bowl 56 between the Bengals and the Rams. Time now, 6:25 and about 42 degrees right now.
Still ahead on GMSA, the latest on an overnight wrong-way crash that caused one person to be thrown from their vehicle over near San Pedro Avenue. Sarah Costa will join us with those details.
And a scary scene for 2 people who escaped a duplex fire on the northwest side. We're going to tell you what we know so far.
And so far, so good. Cross your fingers, folks. We've had a fairly incident-free morning commute so far, but it's still awfully early. We'll check back in with Justin Horn, who's tracking traffic for you.
A fire meant to keep this house warm got way too hot. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. Firefighters say it set the whole house on fire. I'll tell you more about it.
Outside with live cam, the sun is just beginning to start to peek over the horizon. If you're tired of the really, really cold, icy weather, Mike has great news for our work week. Good morning to you, everybody. It's Monday, the 7th of February.
Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. And I feel like we're tougher now. We can take this 42 degrees after experiencing the 20s.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is a good 20 degrees warmer than we were or more compared to last week, right?
Yeah, and think about that. Yes, indeed. Then Saturday, we got down to 22 officially out there at the airport. It was nice and cold and brisk, but warmed up nicely. That was the case yesterday. That's going to be the case again today. We've got a few clouds still hanging around here, but they actually have broken up a little bit sooner than what I had expected. No complaints here. Going to be a good looking sunrise. 41 degrees, normal low temperature. Average is 44 right now. We're in the ballpark of that. Dew point is at 31, and there is somewhat of a breeze. So we do have these temperatures and a couple of freezing readings out there in portions of the hill country still. And with that slight wind, there is a wind chill, not too bad, but enough to keep you bundled up. Feels like 33 Bulverde and New Braunfels, 31 right now at Randolph. Mold and Mountain Cedar are both on the low side. The updated count is going to come out in about a half hour, 45 minutes or so. And throughout the rest of today, and we are going to make it up to the low 50s, at noon, and then top off at 58 degrees for a high temperature later on today. Down maybe a degree or two compared to yesterday. The trend this week is going to be for a lot of sunshine, and temperatures not as cool. We'll still be cool in the morning, but each and every day we go up a degree, a couple of 2-3 degrees on the low end as well as the high end of the scale, and plenty of sunshine. Heading out, hitting the roads this morning. Traffic Authority, Stephen is off. Justin Horn is in. Anything going on, sir?
Not at all. It's been really pretty quiet this morning. As we look at TransGuide here, I-10 and Frio, a spot that typically sees quite a bit of traffic here over the next couple of hours. So far, so good. 281 at Grayson, same story. I-10 at Hackberry. Everyone's moving at posted speeds here. We just have not seen that buildup of traffic just yet. It's probably still going to come, but maybe a little bit later this morning. It's Monday. As we head off to work and school this morning, 35 and 37 South looks good there. 35 Walsham, moving right along. And as we look at the posted speeds, if you're coming in from around San Antonio, everything is basically what you would expect. 28 minutes from Seguin, 26 minutes from New Braunfels. If you're coming in from Lytle, on I-35 there, 16 minutes. And we look around town, other than a little bit of construction here and there are no issues. It has been pretty incident-free most of the morning. A little bit of construction on I-35. We mentioned that, and some construction up there along 1604. We'll keep you posted if anything changes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. San Antonio police have roped off a neighborhood street as they investigate a shooting. This happening in the 200 block of Longview Drive near South W.W. White Road.
Katrina Weber is there with a live report. Katrina, what happened?
Well, good morning. Police are telling me that a man was shot here outside his family's home. You can see here behind me a lot of activity here in the 200 block of Longview Drive. This is where it happened about an hour ago. Police say that the family heard gunshots. They came outside and found a relative down on the ground. He had been shot multiple times, and police say his wounds are considered life-threatening. He was rushed to a hospital. Police have been rushing around this area looking for clues and also to try to find out who did this. So a little while ago, we saw them run to the back of the house. They thought they heard screams back there, but then did not find anything. And again, police have a lot of questions right now, just trying to figure out who shot this person, this man, and why. They say again that the relatives didn't have any clue what happened, just heard the gunshots, found the man down on the ground, and police were not able to question him because they say that he was unconscious. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. New this morning, scary moments for two people who escaped a fire at a duplex on the northwest side, all unfolding around 10 last night on Echo Creek, not far from Huebner. Crews say those two people noticed fire in the walls of the building before it spread up to the attic. Firefighters were eventually able to put out the flames without anyone getting hurt. No word yet of what sparked that fire. A wrong-way driver ejected from his truck after crashing into another vehicle on San Pedro late last night.
Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio. And Sarah, what are police saying about the crash?
Good morning, Mark and Steph. Yes, we spoke with a sergeant on scene who told us the wrong-way driver was in a gray truck driving northbound in the southbound lanes of San Pedro near Asbury United Methodist Church, about half a mile north from Hildebrand. So this happened right before 11:30 last night. To avoid crashing head-on with the wrong-way driver, a driver in a white truck swerved, but both trucks ended up colliding. The wrong-way driver was thrown from his truck. Police say his truck kept going down the road and stopped in front of a nearby church. The driver and two passengers of the white truck appeared to be okay and were able to walk away without injuries. Now, police believe alcohol may play a factor in this crash, and the wrong-way driver that was taken to the hospital will be assessed for driving while intoxicated. Mark and Steph.
Thank you, Sarah. It will soon be 6 weeks since 3-year-old Lena Kill disappeared, and as the search continues, the community is not giving up hope. A group of volunteers on Sunday were focusing on O-Peach Naval Park on the northwest side. Many say it was their first time searching. They were looking for anything that looked out of place, and one volunteer says she can't sit by another day knowing Lena isn't home.
We can't just sit and keep observing. We need to get out and do what we can for this poor little girl.
Police are asking for tips in Lena's missing persons case. You can reach the missing persons unit at 210-207-7660, and the Islamic Center of San Antonio and Crime Stoppers are offering rewards that total $150,000 combined.
To the latest on the conflict in Eastern Europe, White House Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says Russia could invade Ukraine any day. The warning comes after U.S. officials confirm Russia has assembled at least 70% of the firepower they need to have in place by the middle of the month to give Vladimir Putin the option of launching a full-scale invasion. Meanwhile, elite U.S. troops and equipment have landed in southeastern Poland near the border with Ukraine. Troops part of a deployment ordered by President Biden to show the U.S. commitment to Eastern NATO allies.
And topping your morning headlines, the federal trial of 3 former Minneapolis police officers charged with violating George Floyd's rights will resume. This comes after being suspended last week because one of the defendants tested positive for COVID. The 3 officers on trial are accused of depriving Floyd of his rights when they failed to give him medical attention as Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck.
There it is. New controversy surrounding podcaster Joe Rogan, who attracts an estimated 11 million listeners to each of his episodes. His past use of a racial slur causing his critics and his supporters to speak out. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
Podcasting star Joe Rogan is now apologizing for a recently surfaced video showing him repeatedly using a racial slur on his show over the years.
The most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now.
The apology comes after Spotify removed dozens of episodes of his hit show, The Joe Rogan Experience, including episodes with Alex Jones and former Breitbart editor Milo Yiannopoulos. Rogan has been facing criticism for sharing misinformation about COVID, leading artists, including Neil Young, to pull their music from the streaming platform. Rogan reportedly signed a $100 million deal with Spotify in 2020. The company's CEO, in a letter to employees Sunday, said he does not believe that silencing Joe is the answer. Other comics and podcasters also coming to Rogan's defense. Whitney Cummings tweeting, "Comedians did not sign up to be your hero. Stay focused on the people we pay taxes to be moral leaders."
Even if everything he said was 100% right, you still shouldn't take medical advice from a comedian doing a podcast. You can't go, well, I used to host Fear Factor and now he gives me my medical advice. That's not a thing.
Spotify says it's now adding content advisories to COVID-related podcasts. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
And did you know heart disease is a leading cause of death across the U.S.? February is American Heart Month, a time to better understand, prevent, and treat heart disease.
You can greatly reduce your risk for heart disease through lifestyle changes. A cardiac surgeon at UT Health San Antonio joined Leading SA to talk about the issue and some possible solutions.
Yes, heart disease is a leading cause of death across the country for both men and for women. And this situation did not get any better during the pandemic. So we spoke to the doctor about warning signs that you need to know about and easy ways to keep that heart moving and keep you safe. Here's a little bit of our conversation.
Not only is physical activity important for heart health, it has really strong positive effects for mental health, which is so important during this pandemic. We recommend at least 30 minutes of moderate activity daily. And getting physical doesn't require a gym. There are many creative ways to use your environment, such as using the stairs in your building, walking in your neighborhood. San Antonio has a great system of parks and greenway trails. And with cold weather, indoors you can walk or run in place or do jumping jacks. If you have children or grandchildren, playing tag or dancing to music with them are great family activities. And it's a great way to help set those habits early for the little ones.
You can watch our entire conversation right now. Just head to the Leading SA section of KSAT.com. We have Leading SA every Sunday at 8 a.m. So we'll see you next weekend, guys. Back to you.
639, 42 degrees.
Well, County is growing fast, and that's bringing up some concerns. After the break, we're talking about what it means for the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. And welcome back at 6:43. So Comal County is one of the fastest growing counties in the country, and there's no secret why. The scenery is beautiful.
But for some, that's exactly why rapid development is concerning. Comal County sits on the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone and is home to many conduits to that aquifer.
Justin Horn goes underground to explain the worry.
In the Texas Hill Country, caves are plentiful, like this one that Gary Schindel, president of the National Speleological Society, takes us into in Comal County. A small entrance opens to a virtual history book of the area's most valued natural resource, the aquifer.
So at one time, the cave was filled with water, and then as the water levels have dropped over geologic time, it's left these relics of conduits that move water through the system and that. And so these caves allow us to look at the fabric of the limestone to understand better how groundwater moves through the system, how it goes from recharge to discharge.
And that happens fast, the water discharging out of the area's many springs, which is why some feel preserving these caves is crucial.
It's vitally important because water is life, right? And we have these caves are basically direct conduits to the water supply.
Helen Ballou, a consultant for Comal County Conservation Alliance, believes Comal County runs the risk of damaging its natural resources with rapid and in some cases unregulated development.
It's coming in every which way, and it's not just on the fringes of New Braunfels growing out or the Canyon Lake area, it's all over now. So you have these beautiful open landscapes that are natural areas or even agricultural lands, and they're converting into subdivisions and strip centers and quarries in some cases.
And damage to caves like this one have been documented. In fact, this road, according to the landowner, was once slated to come right over the cave. That plan was abandoned, but Ballou's mission here is to give landowners options.
Many of them are feeling so much pressure from developers calling them every week to buy their land that we work with them to put conservation easements on their property.
That would protect the land and what's below for years to come. The question then becomes, can preservation of natural resources and development of Comal County coexist?
It needs to be planned better, and it needs to be, there need to be many areas that are not just part of a subdivision development that's maybe done right, but how about a county park? How about a state park?
Planning, says Ballou, that's needed to preserve Comal County's unique setting, above and below ground.
So that trip underground is part of a bigger story about the Edwards Aquifer. It's part of our KSAT Explained series. You can catch that on all of our digital platforms beginning tomorrow. And we go a lot deeper into the whole issues around the aquifer and how it develops and why it's there and why we care about it. You can check it out again on some of our digital platforms starting tomorrow. All right, switching gears, let's talk traffic now. We do have an incident that we're following. This is 1604 in Houseman, and the incident is down closer to Babcock. You can see some flashing lights there. Looks like we may have a crash there, and it is really starting to slow things down as you're heading eastbound on 1604. Again, this is around Houseman, and it's backed up all the way to Houseman. So let's take a little closer look at where that is. You see the slow traffic there. Right there, just before you get to Babcock, that looks like that off-ramp there, we do have a crash. So that's going to cause some more issues throughout the morning, just a heads up. Otherwise, most everything else is looking good. Looking at some of the TransGuide, again, just that one issue there. We'll switch around and look around town here, and most everything else is flowing smoothly. 281 St. Mary's looks good there. I-37 at 9th Street, smooth sailing. Everything's moving at posted speeds, but it's that 1604 in Houseman that we're going to keep an eye on here next half hour or so. Guys.
Made it to almost 6:45. That's pretty remarkable, all in all.
Not too bad for Monday.
It's true.
Isn't it fascinating, back to your cave story, Justin, going into those caves, unlike Natural Bridge Caverns, which is remarkable, but, you know, it's got walkways and lights, and when the only light is the helmet on your head.
It gets dark down there. And we spotted a bat, too, which was pretty cool.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you do, I've been in caves before where they said, okay, now everybody ready? Now we're going to turn off our lights.
Oh, my goodness.
For about 30 seconds, they say, this is what it's like when you're not here.
Oh.
It's intense.
And it is the blackest black inky that you've ever seen.
I can't.
Or not seen.
I can't process that. I mean, I'd have to experience it.
It's a little scary.
It does give you the woolies.
Yeah.
Yes.
This picture almost looks like a creature out of a Pixar movie.
This is great. I mean, I loved it, as they say, the mouth of the Blanco River with those icicles hanging down there and the reflection in the water. That is a fantastic picture. Thank you so very much for that one. Love that. All right, we've got still obviously a few clouds hanging around here. They have cleared out a little sooner than expected. Some of these lower clouds, and then a couple of higher ones out there as well. And wind chill temperatures right now, 37 in town, 31 Randolph. Bundle up. Obviously, if you are heading on out, warm up the car a little bit. Make sure collar's turned up and zipped all the way up on those little ones. And you probably want to keep a coat handy, or at least a sweatshirt, something throughout the rest of the afternoon, because yes, we will get up into the upper 50s. Now, yesterday we hit 61 degrees, maybe down a degree or two from that today. Slightly below the normal high temperature by about 5-6 degrees. So just cool enough out there, especially if you're in the shade. Upper 50s and low 60s throughout most of the metropolitan area. Here's some of that moisture upstairs in the atmosphere, and that's why we've got not only a couple of these low clouds, but then you saw some of those, that kind of milky shade to the sky off in the distance. But we will see, as you can see, things are going to dry out more upstairs in the atmosphere, so we will have some beautiful blue skies once again today. Here, once again, this is the actual infrared satellite picture, and you can see most of those lower clouds, that darker shade of gray, are getting on out of here. So plenty of sunshine today, and then tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, the rest of the week, that's what's upstream from us right now. Really nothing is showing up around here. So good news, we've got some fantastic weather. It won't be too cold in the morning, won't be too hot in the afternoon, and downside, we don't have a drop of rain in sight throughout the next week. Details today, we are going to have 50 degrees, mostly sunny skies at noon, and plenty of sunshine today with a high temperature up to 58. And the next couple of days, we will have a colder morning tomorrow. That'll be the chilliest morning, and then we continue to go up from there. Mid-40s by the end of the week, normal low temperature, and we're going to make it in the upper 60s, 70 by Friday. And a weak front moves on through here over the weekend, and that will knock temperatures down a couple of notches.
Got a funny meme I want to share real quick from the Facts About Texas Facebook page. It says the groundhog predicted 6 more weeks of winter. Texas said, hold my sweet tea. We're about to do it all in the next 48 hours.
Very true.
That was, yeah.
Kind of happened that way, didn't it? Thank you, Mike. We're blessed with some warmer weather finally. About 10 till 7, 41 degrees.
And from laptops to TVs to mattresses, there are a lot of new deals hitting stores this month. Tomorrow on GMSA, where you can get the best discounts.
Back outside with live cam as you wake up with GMSA. It's going to be a great day. You see the beginning of that sunrise out there. We'll be back after the break. But first,
yeah, let's take a look at the newsroom right now. Here's a live look. Everybody's busy working for the rest of the day. We'll be right back.
An Eastside family wakes up to gunshots outside their home. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. San Antonio police say the news got even worse. They found out a relative had been shot. All this happening here in the 200 block of Longview Drive. This was around 5:30 this morning. People inside a home here told police that they heard gunshots outside and then came outside to find the relative down on the ground. They say that man had been shot several times. He did suffer life-threatening injuries, was taken to a hospital for treatment. Police have been trying to piece things together ever since then. They don't know who shot this man or why. The relatives didn't see or hear anything until they heard those gunshots, and police say they were not able to talk to the victim because he was unconscious. Reporting from the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
We're getting ready to rodeo. Just a couple hours, the dirt will move back into the AT&T Center. That means it'll change from the home of the Spurs to the home of the stock show and rodeo. Starts this morning at 8 o'clock. Rodeo kicks off Thursday and runs all the way through February 27th at the AT&T Center and grounds there. It'll be open every day from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Right now, everything you need to know is on our website. Just head over to ksat.com/rodeo.
And let's go ahead and take one last look at traffic with Justin Horn this morning.
Thank you, guys. One last thing we're watching here is along 1604 eastbound. There is a crash on the frontage road there around Kyle Seal. Now, this is looking at 1604 in Houseman, but traffic is backed up all the way to Houseman. If you're heading eastbound, you can see the flashing lights there in the distance. So that's the one issue we have on the map this morning. You'll want to take it slow up there. Otherwise, looking pretty good, minus a little bit of construction here and there. But there is where that one incident is, again, around Kyle Seal, just before you get to Babcock Road. Mike.
Thank you very much, sir. You know, it's funny to think about the AT&T Center with all the dirt, not only out there in the arena, but also all the corridors behind where all the animals are. They got to fill that with dirt, too. All right, we've got some clear skies, 41 degrees. Grab a jacket, freezing in the hill country, and there is a slight bit of a wind chill, and we're going to make it up to 58 later on today. Plenty of sunshine. Beautiful all week long.
Did Mike just give us the dirt on dirt?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Thank you.
Thank you for
very
that.
much.
Have a great day, guys. We'll see you back here at 9.
GMA is next.